and welcome to CineBolt. Whether you want to jump on a familiar roller coaster ride of punches and knife fights, or you just want to kick back and watch an action-packed movie, then Netflix has got you covered. From heart-racing thrillers to electrifying fight scenes, the streaming service's selection of action movies is sure to get your blood pumping. So without wasting much of your time, here are the top 7 best and highly rated action movies to stream on Netflix right now, and be sure to let us know your favorite movie in the comments below. On number 7, we have The Night Comes For Us. Much like the Raid film series, 2018's The Night Comes For Us is a brutal and relentlessly gory Indonesian action movie that will either leave you numb or throw your heart rate off course. Written and directed by well-known action director Timo Tjahjanto, the main plot follows Ito, a top organized crime enforcer who decides to turn his back on his former life as a killer in order to rescue a young girl. But due to his decision, the crime syndicate he works for sends in his former friend Aryan, along with a literal army of thugs to eliminate the enforcer. If you fancy yourself as someone who enjoys fast-paced, brutal action with brilliant wall-to-wall combat, then this is the movie for you. One thing about Indonesian action films is that they seem to have an intensity that many of their American counterparts can't match, and The Night Comes For Us is nothing short of the goriest action flick in recent years. It's an utterly thrilling ride from start to finish, with an equally amazing story that simply revolves around one man battling his former gang members to save one girl, while also seeking redemption for himself. The movie has a 6.9 rating on IMDb, and an 83% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. On number 6, we have The Old Guard, directed by Gina Prince Bythewood in her very first big blockbuster. The Old Guard is a 2020 superhero action film, starring the ever-incredible Charlize Theron as a warrior named Andy, who leads a covert group of tight-knit mercenaries with a mysterious inability to die, who have fought to protect the human world for hundreds of years. But when the team is hired to take on an urgent mission, their rare abilities are suddenly exposed by sinister entities. Andy and her group sets out on a task to reclaim their secrets, but their quest becomes even more problematic by the arrival of Niall Freeman, a U.S. Marine who becomes the first new immortal in a long time to join their ranks. And despite her initial reservations, Andy reluctantly takes Niall under her wing, as previously unknown enemies who seek to duplicate and monetize their powers close in on them. The Old Guard doesn't just offer ferocious set pieces and kinetic fight scenes, it also brings something much rarer to the genre, and adds an intriguing twist on a well-known concept, with an excellent and immersive cinematography, together with phenomenal performances from the cast. The Old Guard is a great action flick that might just be a step away from becoming a franchise, or at the very least a trilogy, as Theron has confirmed to Variety that the sequel script is already done, and production is set to begin in the first quarter of 2022. The movie has a 6.6 rating on IMDb, and a 70% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. On number 5, we have Triple Frontier. Netflix managed to make Triple Frontier with a star-studded cast, featuring the likes of Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hedlund, and Pedro Pascal as a group of ex-Delta Force operators who reunite and plan a dangerous heist to steal a fortune from a malicious drug lord in the scantily populated multi-border zone of South America. But we all know that stuffs like this don't always go according to plan, and as the situation quickly spirals out of control, their loyalties as well as their survival skills are put to the ultimate test. Triple Frontier is one of those gritty action thriller that's hard to look away from, putting a team of talented cast in a tension-filled and convoluted scenario both literally and morally. Triple Frontier ends up being an exciting and dramatic action thriller that takes a fairly basic concept and executes it brilliantly. The movie has a 6.4 rating on IMDb, and a 70% critics score on Rotten Tomatoes. On number 4, we have Extraction. Extraction is basically non-stop action from start to finish, so if you like gunfights and Chris Hemsworth, then you'll definitely fall in love with this movie. Extraction is an action thriller directed by Sam Hargrave and written by the Russo brothers, and based on a graphic novel by Anne Parks. Hemsworth stars as Tyler Rake, a bold and hardened black market mercenary, who is hired to rescue the kidnapped son of an imprisoned Indian drug lord in Bangladesh. But the situation takes a sharp turn after Tyler is double-crossed, and in the murky underworld of weapons dealers and drug traffickers, his already dangerous mission becomes the impossible. Extraction is surprisingly realistic in terms of how it doesn't turn its heroes into indestructible characters, and its video game-style set pieces fulfills the action genre to its fullest. Extraction doesn't take long to get into the action side of its story, and trust me, once it starts, it almost never stops. While Extraction might be about two battling crime lords, the film has a good dose of emotional and heart-touching moments that makes it even more exciting. The movie has a 6.7 rating on IMDb, and a 70% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. On number 3, we have Den of Thieves. This 2018 Gerard Butler thriller might be a modern derivative of other robbery films like Heat, but that makes it no less effective at being a visceral and hard-boiled action movie. Den of Thieves is a heist action film written and directed by Christian Gudegast. Gerard Butler gives one of his best performances as a sheriff deputy and his law enforcement unit, who are notorious for not playing by the rules, as they cross paths with a professional team of thieves who plan to steal a fortune from Los Angeles Federal Reserve Bank. Den of Thieves tells the tale of a crew trying to pull off an impossible heist by weaving two different narratives, both from the point of view of the cops and the robbers, with an outstanding last hour of pure high-octane grittiness and a phenomenally executed heist sequence. The whole film had so much passion and energy put into it. Throughout the movie, the tension is conveyed very well on the viewer, as the two groups become increasingly hostile towards each other, and a surprising third act totally makes Den of Thieves as good an action thriller as any movie fan could want. The movie has a 7 rating on IMDb and a 62% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. On number 2, we have Hell or High Water. Hell or High Water is one of the most acclaimed movies of 2016, earning multiple award and nominations including 4 Oscars and 3 Golden Globes. The neo-western movie follows recently divorced father Toby and his ex-convict brother Tanner, who get together and plot a series of heists in West Texas against the branches of the Texas Midlands Bank, which is threatening to foreclose their family's ranch due to their extensive debts. The only thing that's standing in their way is Marcus, a Texas Ranger who's only weeks away from retirement, but as the siblings plot their final robbery, they must also prepare for a final showdown with a devious law enforcer who's not ready to ride off into the sunset just yet. Hell or High Water is a thrilling and occasionally touching modern neo-western that is just remarkably entertaining and outstanding. The actors all give career best performances, which is matched by a fairly unique story. Hell or High Water is a tale of brotherhood and family, and one that takes in the harsh reality of the elusive nature of right and wrong, including the quirky delights of human connections in a time of perplexing change. The movie has a 7.6 rating on IMDb and an 88% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And finally, on number 1, we have The Raid 2. If you thought The Raid Redemption was the best action movie in recent memory, well, think again. A great setup for a marathon of action, The Raid 2, also known as The Raid Barandal, is perhaps regarded as one of the most violent movies ever made. Written and directed by Gareth Evans, the main plot picks up from The Raid Redemption, while the story follows Rama, a rookie Jakarta police officer who tries to resume a normal life after surviving a bloody battle with powerful gangsters. But however powerful they may have been, Rama's opponents in that fateful building were no more than tiny fishes swimming in a much larger pond, and his exploits over the little guys has attracted the attention of even more deadly predators. The Raid 2 is among one of the best sequels and martial arts movies ever made, as it's superior to its predecessor in a lot of ways. The Raid 2 is a great masterpiece that not only quenches the thirst for the adrenaline rush of action, but it is also amazing to watch even for its combat sequences alone. This sequel is a lot more involved than the original Raid film, and the storyline is way more complex and interesting. The movie has a 7.9 rating on IMDb and an 89% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. If you enjoyed or found this video helpful, then I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button, and also subscribe to CineBolt if you'd want to see more videos recommending you the best movies and series to watch right now.